Spittin Sports Podcast, Episode 2. Our special guest today is Noah Ryan.
And the first topic we're going to get into is the Blue Jays playoff loss. The first game, they lost 3-1. Gosman, not a great game, and all around, the Blue Jays batch just couldn't get going.
Yeah, story of the season, really. I didn't know what else to expect, honestly, but 2 runs in the first inning from Gosman, and just got us off to the wrong foot right off the bat.
They just couldn't buy a hit. I mean, George Springer 0 for 5, Brandon Bill 0 for 4. I mean,
I don't really agree that they couldn't. It's not that they couldn't buy a hit in Game 1. It's that they couldn't drive in their hits in Game 1.
It's just happening all season, and we should have just expected the same thing in the playoffs. And they were on to Gosman early. He only lasted 4 innings. They were on to his splitter. Every time he threw the splitter, it seemed like they didn't swing at it.
And Gosman struggled with the Twins all year. I mean, they didn't have a lot starting out for their starting pitchers, but I don't know. I knew that wasn't going to go well for them.
Gotta do better.
Yeah, well, Gosman had to start in the regular season as well against the Twins, and I'm pretty sure he got beat up just like this as well.
Yeah, record against the Twins wasn't good.
Two homers given up to the same guy.
Same fella.
I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, but you can't give up 2 homers.
Let me add that same fella just came out from injury. He missed
he couldn't even
lots
run.
Of games.
He couldn't even run.
Exactly.
He either was hitting home or he wasn't doing nothing.
So you got to take advantage of him missing all them games.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I mean, there's not much else to say about Game 1. I mean, 3-1 loss. Couldn't really score a run, and then Game 2. Let's get into Game 2 here. Not a run scored.
Yeah.
Not a run.
Well, Berrios.
Yeah,
all you can say is
brutal.
Jose Berrios did the job.
I didn't like that call at all. The analytics guy.
It was obviously pre-planned, right? It was pre-planned to take him out in a certain point in the game when they think he's about to get into trouble. But I mean, it was 1 runner on base.
I think John Schneider should have made the call.
I just want to say that I've heard a lot of things at Sportsnet and stuff like that, and they said that pullout of Berrios out of the game that early in the game. They think it was actually the GM had a lot to do with it.
Well, yeah.
Ross Atkins. They think that Ross Atkins actually had a lot to do with that, and they think that John Schneider had his hands tied behind.
Well, it's easy to blame John Schneider, but he's just the guy who's carrying out the plan at the end of the day.
Yeah, well,
there should have been someone step in there to say he's pitching great right now. Why take him out when he's not in trouble yet?
Well, there's also lots of reports of the players saying they didn't agree with this decision. So I wish I knew whose decision was it to take him out. He was absolutely dealing all game, great pitches with the slurve and fastball. I know it's because they brought in the lefty Kikuchi because there's multiple lefties coming up in order, but he walked one guy. That one guy he walked was the guy that hit 2 home runs last game.
The lefty-lefty matchup, Kikuchi still came in and gave up a hit on the first batter.
Yeah, and you just don't take Berrios out there in the game where he's really getting comfortable with his pitches. But they went by the analytics too much, and they should have just let the game play out.
Yeah,
well, as you can have as strong of an opinion about the change as you want, but at the end of the day, 0 runs were scored by the Blue Jays.
Exactly.
I mean, when it comes to playoff time, you gotta play better. You gotta be better.
I mean, like we said at the beginning,
in 18 innings is brutal.
The only real player that played really was, I think, Bichette. He came to play.
2 for 4 in Game 4.
Yeah.
Game 2. Game 2.
It was just, I said it in the last podcast, I'm saying it again now. They played like an unexperienced team, and they've been in the playoffs before.
Yeah, well, since 2020 in the postseason, they're 0-6.
Yeah, but Bichette and Guerrero has been in the postseason 3 times, have been swept 2-0 3 times in a row. There is something wrong here, and it has to be fixed now.
Okay, well, on the topic of superstars, what are we thinking about Guerrero getting picked off at second base with a full count and runners on second and third?
You just can't do it. That's what I'm saying. Inexperience.
Yeah.
And I've seen the pitcher and the shortstop, Carlos Correa. Obviously, Carlos Correa, veteran, multiple World Series with the Astros. They had that plan.
It was definitely planned. You could tell that because they had a little step off the mound, full count. You could tell they were.
He rubbed his hat. I see.
Yeah. It was a pre-planned thing, and I mean, the runs are hard to come by for the Jays. So especially when you got 2 runners on, your
Yep.
best hitter at the plate.
You gotta stay disciplined. I understand that the stadium was so loud.
Yeah.
And he sometimes you rely on the third base coach to say back.
Yeah.
To get back.
But
to
he
the
wasn't
base.
even the lead runner.
Yeah.
He was.
So
he
you
was second.
gotta be like, even if Bichette pokes one the other way, that's still 2 runs.
Yeah.
Either way.
And like you said, Drew, inexperience, right? He just gotta be a little bit more
Yeah.
focused.
And
in
I
that
seen
situation.
before he got picked off, he was standing up on the base and going like this to Bichette to calm down.
Yeah.
He should think about himself before Bichette let him play.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do think that once that play happened, you just killed your momentum. You got the crowd back into it in Minnesota.
Oh, that ended the inning.
Yeah,
that was it.
I think that was a major
I
game
think that was a
changer.
Your
deal
best
breaker in the
player
game.
on the team, 3-2 count, worked the count, seen lots of pitches, so he knew what he was getting.
Yeah.
You can't not do that. That probably right there, as soon as that happened, that was it for their season. That was game. Because they got a great bullpen back there, them Twins. With Johan Durant,
season-ending
absolute
pickup.
flamethrower.
Yeah.
And he came in for the save.
Well, getting past the Blue Jays, all sweeps around the board for the wild card.
Yep.
What do we think about that, boys?
Well,
Some
there's
teams
just-
came to play, some teams didn't come to play. It's
Yeah.
what it
the
is.
Diamondbacks, I was surprised with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah,
The Diamondbacks sweep over Milwaukee was very, very surprising to me.
the old Jays hitters playing clutch baseball.
Yeah, as soon as they got out of the Jays organization, they're winning.
Yeah.
But they beat up on Colburn Burns. He was a very good pitcher this whole entire regular season, and
Yeah.
disappointing. Back-to-back home runs got them to win in game 1, and then just came to play again in game 2.
Phillies with another sweep too. I thought
Yeah.
the Phillies played really well
A
actually.
lot of people expected to sweep though with
Yeah.
the Marlins. Just the Phillies are such a strong team. They could have been. They could have had the bye.
I did predict the Marlins to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, you do.
last
I was
podcast.
wrong about that. I thought that they weren't.
Now they got in, but
Okay.
like we said, not much damage done in the playoffs. That was a pretty easy series to predict.
Yeah. Well, the Grand Slam pretty much ended, and
Yeah.
the Phillies fans are they got the best fans in MLB.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
the last series was Texas and Tampa.
I was really shocked by Tampa. They just didn't look like they wanted to win. They just didn't look like they had any motivation to go out and win that series.
I just want to say that it was their attendance for that game in Tampa, the
Yeah.
lowest ever playoff game attendance.
Yeah.
Total of 19,000 and a couple hundred. That is brutal.
Crowd's supposed to be an advantage, right?
Yeah.
Crowd's supposed to be a
Right.
game changer, but no. And I mean, their defense was like little league.
Yeah.
There
Oh
were
yeah.
errors left
Four
and right.
errors in the first game.
Yeah.
4. You
Yeah.
cannot win with 4 errors on the board. You
No.
cannot do it. It's too costly. They scored multiple runs on errors. And in game 2, Texas offense just blew up. They have a great offense. I like Texas.
I like Texas as a
I
team
said in the
the
last
playoffs.
podcast as well, they are very underrated.
Who do they got now? They got
Go
I know Houston and Twins. Who does the Rangers have in second?
They have Baltimore.
Yeah, I think that'll be a fun series
That'll be a
to
good
watch.
series.
That'll be a fun
Good.
series.
I'm excited to see Baltimore in the playoffs. Honestly, Baltimore, good young team, but inexperienced. So I want to see what they're like in the playoffs. They have done good all year, so I don't think it will be much of a problem.
I could definitely see Texas going in and being
I
an
can see it
underdog
too.
winner against
Oh, yeah.
Baltimore. Easy.
You gotta remember, this is only 3-5 as well.
Yeah.
This one's 3-5. The next couple are 4-7.
Yeah.
So anything can happen, And I think Houston beat up on Texas though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not Texas.
Or Minnesota. I do think that Minnesota's riding a high, but even as a salty Blue Jays fan, I think that Houston's going to make quick work of
Oh,
Minnesota.
I think Houston's gonna make a run for it all.
Well, they won it all last year, so they know what it takes.
Because really, the Twins outscored the Blue Jays, but the Twins didn't really score that many runs either
No.
against the Jays.
Yeah.
And it was
Jays just couldn't get a
really
hit.
one person did all the damage.
Yeah.
So, and I think LA takes it over Arizona, personally. They did beat Milwaukee 2-0, but I just think LA's
Yeah, I like
powerhouse.
LA.
Powerhouse. And the last series, I think this is a huge series. I think the winner of this could win it all.
Yeah.
Phillies, Braves. I think it's a great series.
That's going to be a good series.
Two
It's,
powerhouses.
I mean, in a way, I think that sweeping a wild card in a dominating fashion like the Phillies did almost gives you more momentum going into the next
And
series.
sometimes people think that getting that bye gets you a bit rusty. You
Yeah.
don't get at bats for what is it, 5-6 days. They're just not used to it.
And
They're used to playing every single day.
besides pitchers, like I mean, these baseball players they can play every day, really. So I think it is an advantage more than it hurts a team.
Yeah. Personally, I still have Atlanta coming out of this.
Yeah.
But I do like Philly. But I think Atlanta does it this year.
Yeah, I like Atlanta. I think they're just one of the deepest teams. They all hit the ball hard. They're just a fun team to watch.
And you guys have Phillies?
No.
Do you
I
You
got the
like
Braves
Atlanta?
on them,
Yeah. I have seen people have the Phillies though. But
Yeah.
I do think the Braves will come out of that.
I agree.
Anyways, game one tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how
It's
it
gonna be
works out.
interesting,
We'll be
yeah.
probably talking about the playoffs again next podcast. But that's all we have for the MLB, and next we'll be getting into the NFL.
We'll start off the NFL with the trade today. Dolphins acquire Chase Claypool for and a 7th for a 6th round pick. What do you think about that, boys?
Yeah,
I don't think they needed the wide receiver.
but I mean, you can't deny the value. The
I
value
mean,
for
it's just
Claypool.
it's basically like a pick swap, 6 and a 7, and you're just getting Chase Claypool.
It's basically for free.
Yeah, I love it actually. I don't think we were the team that needed him the most.
Yeah, do the Dolphins really need another wide receiver?
No,
Yeah.
but think about it. This is a guy who had a great start to his career,
And they gave him a
struggled, and now he's going to have zero pressure going to Miami. Probably a third option.
Third option.
Third
He's
option,
in-
most
he's
likely.
a third option.
Definitely third option.
Yes.
Definitely.
But he might be fourth with the great running back. The receiving running backs are doing well.
Barrios is obviously having a great year too.
And-
Barrios is
and,
having a great year.
Yeah, so I think he'll be doing good. He's coming up against corners that are not top level anymore. So I think he'll
I think
succeed.
that's an absolute steal for the Dolphins. To be honest with you, I don't see the point in getting that extra wide receiver, but I mean,
I like I said, I think it's a no-brainer deal for Miami with the situation they're in now going for a Super Bowl, but I'm surprised that other teams didn't jump on that opportunity quicker. I mean, it was clearly wasn't working out. They were talking about just letting him go, letting Claypool walk. But
well, something clearly is going on
Something must have
Yeah.
happened
upstairs.
there.
Something's going on.
Something's going on.
hopefully Mike McDaniel can.
He can fix anybody in offense.
I think the players really like playing for him, and I hope he
He just looks like
succeeds.
a fun guy to be coached
Yeah.
by. He looks like he knows what he's at.
And he's know what he's talking about. He's just good all
Exactly.
overall.
He just looks
I
like
hope
an
he
overall
does
person.
succeed in Miami. I think he'll have a great opportunity to.
I think
Get his
Miami
game
got a
back.
good chance this year.
Yeah.
And starting out the season, they're looking good, but
Yeah.
we'll
Well,
see.
talking
We'll see.
about,
They'll win.
Starting out the season, and we'll get into the Bengals with a terrible start on the
Bengals
season.
are
Losing
I don't know
27.
what's happening to them this year. They're not starting off good. at all.
Losing 27-3
Joe
to
Burrow
the
is just-
Tennessee Titans.
Most people had the Bengals winning that game, and
Oh, definitely,
I
definitely the Bengals win that.
Putting
I
up
was shocked.
one field goal is unacceptable in a NFL game.
yeah, there's something going on. I thought it was really interesting when the reporters interviewed Jamar Chase, and he said, "I'm always open."
Yeah, it's almost
mean,
like
it's
he's saying something to Burrow.
It's almost like
he's
he's taking
going
a
on,
shot at
get your
Burrow,
game
yeah.
going.
It's getting to the point where it's
But there's also a lot going around saying that,
so mad at their QB.
There's also a lot going around saying that Burrow's playing with an injury right now.
He is. He's playing with
He's
a calf
also
injury.
dealing with a lot of pressure coming off the highest contract.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely not playing like that though.
But I was really surprised for Jamar Chase to call Burrow out like that.
Well,
Really.
honestly, if he's hurt this bad and it's
He
affecting
shouldn't be
him
playing.
this much,
He shouldn't be
Yeah.
playing.
he shouldn't be playing. He take a week or two off, whatever
Yeah.
it takes.
Then he comes back. And
Maybe
look
they
better.
have a loss, but who cares? They're losing anyways with him in their hurt.
Yeah.
And they're
He
losing
comes back
bad.
better than ever,
Yeah.
and with a week of rest.
Yeah.
And he could come out firing again.
I agree. Something's
Well,
got to happen.
But
because,
is
I'd
it
keep him
time to panic?
I think
not yet.
I think you're almost
I think-
getting there.
You're
What's
getting
the
close.
1 and 3?
Close.
What?
You're
They're
getting
the
close.
last place
I
team
think-
in the AFC right now.
Yeah.
I think unless they get a win when they play next, then maybe after that, if they lose, then
All
it's time to
I'm saying is I don't know if I'd press the panic button, but I'm not
Four
I'm not
games in,
relaxed
I mean,
anymore.
four
I'm not
games-
relaxed.
4 games in, you're stressing a bit, but you're not full on
No,
I wouldn't say
I
you're panicking.
yeah.
I'd say you're
definitely.
getting there, bro.
Now shift to the Cowboys. Cowboys with another dominating win.
Cowboys are looking
Dominating
insane
win.
to start the season this year.
Well, their defense is like the game I watched. The defense and offense scored the same amount of points.
Yeah.
They had
Their
2
defense,
touchdowns
I mean,
apiece.
Micah Parsons
Yes.
is just
I think
Micah
Micah
Parsons
Parsons
is
is one of the best defensive, if not the best
I think
defensive
he's
player in the world right
starting
now.
the season. He's up there for defensive player of the year. Or
Well, he gotta be. He's just a great young player, and he's just shown he can be there with anyone in the league.
Well, the Cowboys are showing what happens when your defense and offense is clicking full cylinders because they're playing great football right now.
You know what I've seen about the Cowboys offense though? They have the worst red zone offense in the league. When they get to the red zone, they score the least amount of points than anybody else.
And that just shows how good their offense is if they're still scoring that many points with that bad. Obviously, that's an issue that needs to be fixed, but I don't know. I'm fully on board with the Cowboys right now. I think
they
they're
got
a real
big
deal.
game next week. Big game.
The only thing is when playoffs come along, you know what happens with the Cowboys. They can't buy a game in the playoffs. But, I mean, this year could be different. I mean,
They got a big game against 49ers.
Oh, that is a massive
We'll
game.
get into that
Yeah.
after this, but the last game we'll talk about is Bills Miami.
You know, I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a Dolphins fan.
The Dolphins had a brilliant week.
I think that brought the Dolphins back down to earth.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
were
almost needed
a bit behind.
Yeah,
and
I think they
needed
needed a
that
little bit of a
re-up
smack
bit.
like that.
Josh Allen came to play. So,
Not just Josh Allen. Diggs came to play.
Stephon
Diggs took over that game. He was unstoppable. He could barely be
Three
tackled.
touchdowns.
Barely be tackled.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns.
A lot of people are saying that.
120 yards.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that Miami was missing Ramsey in that game for Diggs, but I don't know if there's not much to say. The defense didn't look near as solid as it looked in previous weeks. I mean, offense had 21 points. I mean, that is what it is. It's not great, not horrible.
Yeah, Diggs, I'm just looking at it here. Diggs, 120 yards.
Yeah.
3 touchdowns. Great game. Tyreek Hill only led to 3 receptions for under 60 yards.
So obviously the Bills did their homework. They found a way to slow down the offense, which
For
most
sure.
people thought was unstoppable.
Yeah. They proved it's not.
The
And
Dolphins just-
what about Diggs? You see, after one of his touchdowns, took 2 beers,
Oh, yeah.
smashed them together like that.
I mean, if you're winning by that much, I mean, do what
Go
you
ahead, go ahead, exactly.
want. But no, I think that was a big statement game for the Bills, and I think the Dolphins got to wake up and realize they're not the top. They're not at the top yet.
Yeah.
They got to keep working hard. I think that was a big game. That was a big statement win.
Wake-up
Yeah,
call.
statement win for the Bills.
But let's get into next week now, week 5. How about the Cowboys and the 49ers,
Big game.
Sunday Night Football?
Big game now. I got the 49ers. I don't
Yeah.
know. They're just.
I
they're
see a
unstoppable this
lot
year,
of
really.
people- I
Christian
see-
McCaffrey's a different breed this year. But, I mean.
It's true. I see a lot of people actually taking the upset kinda in the Cowboys.
I
It's
wouldn't be
called
surprised.
an upset.
No, I wouldn't be surprised, but I got
The
Uh,
49ers are one of
in that
2 undefeated teams left in the NFL.
I got my opinion. I got the Cowboys. I think the Wait, who's home
I don't
though?
know.
That's a big factor too.
I'm not sure.
I do like the Cowboys. I think. I don't know. I think it's going to be a similar situation to the Dolphins. I think the 49ers are going to get a little comfortable, and they're going to come in and play a really good team in Dallas. And I think Dallas is going to win this game.
I think Dallas is going to
49ers
win
are
more,
home.
but I mean,
So that
I don't know. The 49ers are just looking so good
I'm
this
with
year.
Murph. I'm with Murph saying 49ers. I disagree on Mike.
I think it's going to be a
I
close
got
game.
Cowboys.
I think it's going to be a
Okay,
3-point
so you
game.
guys got Cowboys, we got 49ers.
Mhm.
Cowboys
Now
are
you
just-
boys tell us what you got Cowboys. and we'll
Cowboys
say why we
they
got
got
49ers.
like Mike said earlier. They got the offense and the defense rolling right
Yeah.
now. I don't know. I think they can do it, but
I
49ers are also home too. So
Home field advantage.
I just feel like it's going to come down to what quarterback, because for both great defense, I think it's going to come down to what quarterback is going to get more comfortable into the game. And I don't know. I think I got Dak over Brock Purdy right
I
now
know.
in
That's
the big game.
that's
No.
exactly where
No.
I disagree.
I think
I think Dak don't show up in the big games. He hasn't been tested yet.
Yeah.
He has not been tested with great teams yet. I can see him throwing 2 picks. You're talking about the Cowboys defense. What about the 49ers defense?
Yeah.
Like they're not much
They're both
off.
elite
Maybe
defenses.
if you can interchange about whoever's better.
Yeah.
And I just want to say Brock Purdy 9-0 in regular season games started. The only game he lost was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
When he got hauled out of the game into the middle of the second quarter with that elbow.
I
injury.
mean,
Uh,
it's irrelevant. If he's
Agree.
pretty irrelevant nowadays.
Agree or disagree with what quarterback's going to show up. I think we can agree that that's going to be the major factor.
I think that's gonna
because
be
it's
a
2 great defenses going
I'd
at it.
say
I think it's
either a 3-point game
And
or a touchdown.
I also like the weapons for the 49ers. I like
Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, but then
Can't
you
be
got
stopped.
Debo, and then you got Kittle, and I think the biggest underrated part of it is Brandon Ayuk. Like he's huge for them.
Starting the year, Brandon Ayuk's been looking really
Like
good.
he's huge. I think he's better. He's more valuable to the 49ers than Deebo Samuel, in my opinion.
So far,
I think
this season, if we're talking this season, 100%.
But you also got to remember, with a player like of Deebo's
about.
stature, he also opens up a lot of plays for his teammates. So you can look at it like
He
that
takes
too.
a lot of the focus to him and away from
You look
the
at 49ers.
And you also got to think about like
insane.
Kittle as well. Takes a lot of the.
Yeah.
What about the Ravens Steelers game?
I think the Ravens got that game.
I think it's a blowout.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's going to be an embarrassing loss for the Ravens if they lose.
I think it's gonna be a pretty close game. I don't know if it's gonna be a blowout, but I hope my Ravens win the game.
They should. But then again, like you never know. They lost to a Colts team that they really should have beat too.
Yeah,
so you never know.
That was an embarrassing game. And last game, I think this is a big game too. Jags Bills. I think this is in London.
It is.
In
It is.
England.
I don't know. I think the Bills.
This is England.
I think Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs got that.
But
game.
I also think that the Jaguars are a team that people sleep on.
My pick of this game is the Jaguars.
No.
The Jaguars are always Jaguars home. Like whenever there's London games, Jaguars is over there.
Yeah,
I count that as home field advantage for the Jaguars. A lot of England fans of the NFL are Jags, so that's home field. I think this is where Lawrence, he's been underperforming a little bit for the first 4 weeks of the season. I think this is where he shows that he is not getting worse.
Yeah.
He's still one of the top 5, 6, 7 quarterbacks in this league.
It's close, but I do agree with Jaden. I think that the Bills are riding a high after pretty much demolishing the Dolphins.
I think it really all depends on your team.
I'm not saying that the Bills are not a better team. I think the Bills are a bit better of a team, but I think that the Jaguars just pull off the upset in London.
So basically, you're saying you just think that
I'm
it
picking
depends
underdog.
on if Lawrence is going to show up. Or
I
not.
think Lawrence does show up. I think he plays well, and I think he shows once again. I think he shows why he's a top 7 quarterback.
Yeah. There's not much else to say on the topic. I mean, I think it's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be a better game than most people saying the Bills are going to win by a lot.
Yeah.
But no, definitely.
And the last thing we're going to get into is a bit of fun. We're going to try it out for the first time. We're going to get into NHL player comparisons and see who would rather who. First, I'm going to get into, would you rather Brandon Montour or John Carlson?
Start with Murph.
We'll start with Murph.
Brandon Montour.
Okay.
He showed last year.
What we're going to do is everyone say who it is, and if there's a disagreement, you'll say why. So he goes Montour.
Montour and who?
John Carlson of the Capitals.
I got John Carlson.
Okay, and
I got Montour.
okay, so you explain why you got Carlson.
This is for the upcoming season, right?
Yep, for this next season, who's going to be the better defenseman?
I think I actually do have John Carlson because John Carlson is a proven elite offensive defenseman in the league, and I think
Montour's been a one-season wonder.
Is a one-season wonder, and I do think that the Florida Panthers are not going to be a top of the division kind of team. I think they're going to get into the playoffs.
We're gonna be an underdog again.
But I don't think the gap between the Capitals team and the Panthers team in points is going to be that massive.
Yep.
So I do think.
The thing about the Capitals, they're so old. Like,
but you also got to think.
All the best players are above.
Hey, John Carlson still quarterbacks that power play in Washington,
And you're
they have an elite
you're
power.
thinking. I'm gonna say I actually do like Carlson better. I'm not gonna argue to get between you guys because this is for you guys.
I mean, Brandon Montour 73 points last season.
All I'm gonna say is John Carlson, like he said, is proven, and you're only doubting on him because he was out last season. He got a puck to the face. Was out for months.
So Murph, this is my like I said, my points are John Carlson's proven, and I think John Carlson is going to be on a decent, like an average team, but
and he got
a
Ovi
good
there.
power play. A good power play.
Ovi is going for the goals record.
Okay,
so you think Montour is here to stay at that caliber?
I think Montour is going to be maybe better than last year. I mean, 73 points last year, and that playoff run. Big part of that playoff run was Montour. Montour and Jasar. Two big parts of that playoff run.
He's the
now,
reason why the
I know.
possible.
Exactly. Now I know that Brandon Montour's, his breakout seasons last year, and there's a chance he might not be able to keep that up. But I think he's gonna.
But you gotta remember, he's not like a 24, 25-year-old
He's
just,
on the older
just
side.
breaking out. He's
on the older
29
side.
years old, turning 30 this year.
I know. But
Maybe he's
what's
a late
John
bloomer.
Carlson's, what, 35?
He's getting up there.
33.
But see, Murph, a lot of his points are assists. He just has great vision on the ice.
No.
So I do still think that John Carlson is going to be the better defenseman if healthy this season.
I think I'm taking.
I just
I'm
want to
still
say,
taking
who's
Montour.
the better Florida defenseman, Ekblad or Montour? Because that's
Depends-
also competitive.
Depends. Ekblad
I
was a little
mean-
bit injury prone last year.
And then
Yeah.
last season Montour for sure.
I
Now,
think
For this next season, who do you think will be the better
It depends if
Florida
Ekblad's
defenseman?
healthy, I think. And if you're going off a defensive side, I think Ekblad. But if you're going point
I
blank,
think-
I've never really been a big fan of Ekblad's
I don't think
game.
he's ever lived up to potential.
I do.
First,
Yeah,
first overall.
I think
pick.
he's living a. People talk about him a bit of like because of how high of a pick he was.
Yeah.
I actually think Montour is the best defenseman on the Florida Panthers this season.
I think I agree with that.
Like I can agree with that, but like I said, I still got Carlson all.
And
around.
let's get into a forward comparison. Would you like to have on your team for next season Braden Point or Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks?
Elias Pettersson.
We'll start over here now with Noah first.
I want Pettersson.
You like Pettersson. Yourself?
Pedersen.
Point or Pettersson?
Pettersson. I mean,
Okay, we're all going for Pettersson.
But I can give. I think
Braden Point's not very far behind now. I'm saying
no.
that.
I
No.
think that what Pedersen does with the team that he's on is really impressive.
Yeah, he's on a AHL team putting up.
And he's
over-
only getting
I'm
better.
sorry,
He's only
points,
young.
if not
Yeah.
over.
Now Braden Point, same thing.
Yeah.
But I think
But
Braden
he-
Point's had.
a Tampa team that's getting old now.
Yeah.
Experience, but they're getting like experience in
Oh, I
past
think
stuff,
Tampa
but
only
they're
got a few years left for the team they got.
Well,
Yeah,
now remember,
no,
this is
he's
player
not-
talks.
he's
This
not
is not team
Right,
talks.
the people he's playing. I think he plays with. He don't play with Stamkos. He plays with Kucherov.
But still,
so they're up there.
I think that Point was kind of came up in that great system, that dynasty. I think he has more
I think
tools
Pettersson came
at
up
his
from none.
disposal.
Came up from none.
I would take Pedersen at this time,
Yeah.
and for this season. Pedersen is an 100+ point player.
Oh yeah.
So point
And,
actually plays with Kucherov and
Pedersen's the
Stamkos.
face of the Canucks. Him and Quinn.
I honestly thought he could have got captain. Pedersen.
Let's do another one since you
Yeah.
all agree. Let's get into Tim Stutzla, Brad Marchand. Next season, who do you want? Next season.
Him still.
Tim Stutzla.
Yeah.
Stutzla? Yeah, I'd also go with-
Marchand's an old bag of.
I mean-
friggin'
I think Marchand is still going to be a good, impactful
No,
player.
I agree with him getting the C from Bruins.
Yeah,
100%. He should have had it before.
But here's the
He
thing:
was
the
Bergeron.
Bruins are on the decline this season.
Oh, then
The Senators I think, are a playoff team this season.
Yeah.
And I actually think
Themselves.
Stutzla could be up around the 95+
I
point
think
range.
I
this
think
season.
it's not even bad to say that Stutzla's hitting 100+.
No, I think
I
this
wouldn't even-
Stutzla had. I think Stutzla took a big step last year.
And now he's just
Taking
getting
a bigger
another
step this
year of experience in the
Yeah,
NHL.
I think Stutzla solidifies himself as a superstar
Yeah,
this
I wouldn't
season.
be surprised.
Okay, let's get into another one. Like a pretty close one in my opinion. Hughes or Matthews? Because Hughes had that huge season last year, and Matthews disappointed. For
Matthews.
this year,
Matthews.
who do you think?
Matthews.
This year.
I
For
think,
this season coming up, I want Hughes.
no, I think Matthews just had a.
I don't know.
Everyone knows Matthews
I don't
had a bad year last year.
I
Come
think
on.
I think Matthews is
That's
gonna
not
make.
happening this
I think
year.
Matthews is gonna make a comeback, but I
Might
don't
be a
know.
bit of
Hughes,
fantasy bias,
I
'cause
think
he's on the
Matthews is
fantasy
gonna make a
team.
comeback, but Hughes is just getting better, man. So I don't really know.
Um,
I think-
no.
I think
Come
this
on.
year I want
To me, it's
Matthews,
very
but after
close.
that I'm taking
It's
Hughes.
close, but I
To
still
me, it's
think this
really
year
close.
Matthews is.
I don't know. I think
Matthews is pretty
something wants me to pick Hughes this season.
I got Hughes.
With Mike, I just like the Devils.
I mean,
Team this
the
year.
Devils team is very solid team.
I think that the Devils are going to be one of the best teams in the NHL this year, and I think a lot of it has to do with how much Jack Hughes keeps progressing every season. He was a big Cadillac last year.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
still
like
don't think
Hughes.
he's better than Matthews this year, especially.
It depends if Matthews does what he did last year, then obviously.
Now,
Hughes,
if
but-
Matthews wants to go out and have another 60-goal season like he did 2 years ago, I think it's going to be Matthews.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Matthews is
Definitely.
getting 60, but I don't think he's letting what happened
I think
last year happen
Matthews.
again.
I think Matthews is due for 50 this year. Due for 50.
I agree with that.
Now, does Hughes have good
I don't
line
think
mates? Yes.
Hughes has the goal scoring that Matthews does, but I think the overall game, I got Hughes.
Such a creative.
I think he's a better playmaker by far.
He's creative. He's fast. He's
Yeah.
good skater. He
He's
knows
young,
the
he's
game.
younger.
Good with the
Younger
He's
than
only
Matthews.
he's only getting better. Like
Yeah.
Matthews has probably hit his peak now.
I still
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Not,
I think
not
Matthews
this year.
is entering
Not
his
this
prime.
year.
I think
Yeah.
Matthews'
No way.
peak was not last year, but the year before when he got 60.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing that again.
I got Hughes.
Jack Hughes is currently on alignment just for Brett and Tyler Foley.
Yeah.
Which is
On the
good
first
players
line.
around
Two
him.
goal
Brad-
scorers around.
Brad,
him.
Brad, an underrated player.
And
Oh,
Toffoli's
definitely.
just
Brad had a good season
proven
last
so many years that he's a great goal scorer.
I was gonna say
He's a
like
guy you can always rely on. in those
And the
tough
Devils
situations.
power play. Devils power play, very good.
I was gonna say like I think Hughes plays with good line mates, but I think he plays with obviously worse line mates than Matthews.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
So I think it's actually really impressive that Hughes put up more points than him last
Oh, it
season.
is impressive. Yeah. I mean,
I just don't
still
see-
think Matthews is better.
I don't see
know.
Hughes getting worse at this point in time.
Oh,
I
I
think
think
I
there's
don't
more-
disagree.
there's
Matthews
more
going
risk.
back to his
there,
you
but
know,
there is more
50,
risk
60
of
goals.
Matthews having another down year, I think, than Hughes having a down year.
Yeah. I mean, I
But both
get that,
healthy.
but-
Both healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Matthews he's just gonna have a good season after last season. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna let that
And
happen
so
again.
do I don't think
Yeah,
it's happening.
okay. The very last one we'll get into, last one for the video.
Yeah.
Let's go with Robertson or Kaprizov.
Pretty tough.
I think that's pretty close.
Pretty tough.
So Murph's going with Kaprizov.
I'm going with Robertson.
I think Robertson.
I'm going with Kaprizov. I'm with Murph. I like Kaprizov is a better player. He doesn't play with as good players like you said with Hughes.
He's on
Yeah.
He's on a definitely weaker team
And
than the Stars.
he's I think everyone picks Robertson. Everyone likes Robertson this year
Just
because he had
has
such
one good season.
he had a great first half of the season. He really slowed down
He
in the
did.
second half.
He did.
But here's
And I think
my
that's gonna transcend to the next
yeah.
season.
My thinking around this is I think the Wild are going to be definitely obviously the worst team.
Yep.
I think I really like the Stars as a team,
Yeah,
and I think
do too.
obviously I like who Robertson's playing with more. So I just feel like with the fact that Robertson's only getting better,
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I just think Kaprizov has more skill, better player.
yeah,
There's
I
no
think
solid-
Kaprizov is the better player. I can agree with you on that. I think the pieces around Robertson are going to allow him to get more points this season.
Yeah, okay, that's good. What do you got, Robertson on Kaprizov?
He's playing with Pavelski and Hintz.
Yeah.
Hintz
I
still.
think Hintz is.
Now,
Hintz-
I think it really depends.
Hintz, I think will have a really good
Yeah,
year.
so
I don't know.
Hintz is gonna
I think
be
Hintz is
good
going to
this
have
year.
a good year.
Whereas you got
I don't know
Kaprizov
that
playing
they're-
with Ryan Hartman and Matt Zuccarello. Zuccarello, an older guy, veteran, but
I mean, Ryan Hartman's
neither of those
not
guys
bad.
are going to help
Not
him out
Now-
as much as Pavelski.
Yeah, I
and Hintz
agree
are.
with that. I agree.
Last thing to
60
branch
goals
off to
player.
quickly. I got a question for you guys. Is Rupe Hintz almost in superstar territory?
He's close.
If he has a season like he had in the playoffs,
I think
this
he's-
season.
I think
in a
he's-
year or two. Definitely.
I think he's already in the superstars.
No.
I think he's already.
I think he
I
needs
think-
to prove
I
it
think
over a full
The
NHL
way,
season.
the way he played in the playoffs,
Playoffs, he was a
he needs
superstar.
to do that this season, though.
little like
He needs to do
playoffs.
that throughout the regular
He did
season
that the
and
whole
playoffs.
year. I think he did that the whole year. You're only saying that because he got injured for
Yeah.
a little bit last year.
It's true.
Without the injury, he would have been on pace to be up there with all the superstars. I think last year proved to me he is there, and he's only getting better.
I'll tell you this:
So I think
if
he's a superstar.
if he can give me another season like he looked last season, then I'll give him the superstar status.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. And
Yeah.
I think he had around 75, 80 points last year,
How many games was you?
but he was out probably for
He only
2 or
played
3
around
weeks.
60-something.
Yeah, and I seriously think that Robertson and him are only getting better, and if they keep playing together well, I think they're both going to be forces.
Yep.
And I guess that's going to wrap up episode 2 of the podcast. Check in next week.